If it's an early morning light on a river, for instance, if you can capture that, then you've done a good job.
What I'm attempting is to paint the light. I've only been trying for 35 years and I'm hoping to get a good one soon. Being an open-air outdoor painter, the thing that grabs me, has always really grabbed me, is the light, and that's really what gets me going in the landscape. It's the light it's all about. Any subject will do me if there's a light falling on it that looks good.
If it's an early morning light on a river, for instance, if you can capture that by being there and have a viewer then come along and get that cold, misty feeling, you know, a bit of a shiver up their spine, and that first ray of light comes through a cold fog, you know. If you can capture that and translate it so that other people can feel that, then you've done a good job.
My idea of it all is my feeling of beauty, you know, to capture beauty. And to me, the beauty is light on a certain object in the landscape, different seasons of the landscape. You know, that sort of thing is what I'm more about.
They call themselves the Australian Plein Air Group, landscape painters who gather a few times a year to camp out and paint outdoors. They're following in the footsteps of the Heidelberg School, legends of Australian art such as Arthur Streeton, Tom Roberts and Frederick McCubbin, whose late 19th century work was the birth of Australian Impressionism. It's not really a revival of the Heidelberg School. Good landscape painting has never gone out of fashion. But for these artists, working plein air is the key to really capturing the unique light, vegetation and colours of the Australian bush.
It's a similar thing to probably what they did. A lot of artists in history went out in the field to, you know, capture the light, get inspiration, ideas, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's probably an extension of that.
Casey Seeley is one of Australia's best landscape painters and a founding member of the Plein Air Group.
We're all like-minded people and we appreciate what all of us do and what all of us put into the group. It's a mixture of people, like professional to keen amateurs, which doesn't matter, you know, it's just that like-minded get-together and fun and camaraderie and you know, all people from interesting backgrounds. Learning from nature, painting from nature and that sort of thing is the inspiration behind it. Light, you know, light is the thing you're trying to capture. You know, light and atmosphere in your paintings. I love this sort of, you know, in autumn when all the grasses go into the greys and golds, and it's probably more true Australiana to me. Like, I always think the Australian flag should be blue and gold, not blue and green, because to me true Australia is gold, and like it is here, you know, the gold and then the blue hills and blue sky.
In the cool pre-dawn, Brett Garling is up and chasing the light before it even appears on the horizon. He reckons the dynamic light of sunrise and sunset is hardest to capture, but brings the most rewards.
You've probably got 5 or 10 minutes. You've got to be super fast. And at times you've got to have a little bit of a photographic memory because the light changes so rapidly that you can be looking down to mix a colour that you've just seen, look up and the colour's gone. So in a respect, you've got to have that sort of develop a photographic mind as to the image you want. You looked at it, that inspired you, stay with that.
Brett Garling is better known as one of Australia's best sculptors, but he also loves to paint. Which do you prefer?
Horses for courses. There's things that I can't accomplish with clay. I can't describe the feeling I get from a landscape through clay. And vice versa, I can't describe the movement of a horse or a person running through paint.
Like most of his colleagues, the attraction of the Plein Air group is the opportunity to work alongside great painters in a supportive environment.
It's a camaraderie thing as well, but it's very much a learning curve. I've never come away from a trip yet where I haven't thought, wow, I've learnt something new today. And this trip's been great, you know. I've learnt something about colour or perspective or tone or composition. And having older members in the group too is great because they bring with them this wealth of knowledge that they've accumulated and they've accumulated from their mentors and passing on. So it's a real learning group too.
At 75, Doug Seeley is the Plein Air group's oldest member. He's been a professional painter for 50 years and his work has won multiple awards. But like many oil painters, he's developed a serious allergy to turpentine and now can only work with watercolours.
And of course I used to splash turps around, get turps in my hand, didn't wash it, didn't wipe it off, didn't know about the allergies. And of course then when it hit me, it took a while to find out what it was. And by that time I was covered in blisters. And so I had to give it up for 3 years, and they said if it came back again after 3 years, I'd have to give up oil painting altogether. And that's how I kicked into watercolours, because I had a family to feed, so I had to earn money. So then I taught myself watercolours.
Is it more challenging capturing a landscape with watercolours?
Oh, you bet. Yeah, I mean, well, the one I'm working with today, theirs been so dry that I haven't been able to use the technique that I like doing best and that I envisaged when I started the picture. And so it's turned into a sort of semi-mess. I'm still all right, but it's disappointing for me. So you can't just, like with oil painting, you just scratch it and work over it. But with watercolours, you just get another sheet of paper and start over. And so that's a problem. And as the picture gets more advanced, you've got the chance of dropping colour where it shouldn't be in the sky, something like that. Picture's ruined. You can't wipe it off. So you've got to start again.
Yeah. That's the difficulty, is trying to keep the sun off both his palette and his board. Yeah. We have trouble judging colour.
During its week-long stay in the Dubbo region, the Plein Air painters help promote river-smart conservation while bringing their work to the public on the Macquarie River. The group hopes to do more public painting on future trips to help promote an art form which they say has been devalued by the art world.
Landscape painting, as all art did, went off the boil for a while there, where there was all this find yourself type art come in and throw paint at walls and, you know, isn't it wonderful what a mark that made? And that's all well and good. And, you know, the adage was, oh, not another bloody gum tree painting, you know. Have you seen a good one painted though?
There's a sort of system, and it's a system that works around the world where a lot of these people come out of a university system and they get into the positions of power and they push their one agenda, where, you know, our agenda is more like an undercurrent of we just go and do it. We really have nothing to do with that side of the art world, you know.
Todd Wisson has a foot in both camps. He's been a full-time professional painter for 10 years, but just enrolled in a fine arts degree at Queensland's Griffith University.
So you're known for impressionist style work, but what you're doing there is abstract.
Yes, that's right. It's almost like two audiences basically. People often like one or the other, and often it can be the uneducated that don't quite get abstract art, because you need to know about art history and understand, including myself, I was guilty of that, what the people are trying to say. What I'm looking for is really the same in Impressionism, which is to be inspired by and moved by the feeling of what's in front of me. So it could be the light, it could be the colour, it could be the movement, it could be the shadows. There's no in particular thing, it's just on the day.
while they may debate the merits of abstract art or impressionism around the nightly campfire, laughter sets the tone. Ultimately, they're bonded by the quest to chase the light and try to capture the beauty of the Australian bush. And there's still plenty of support for their work. Warwick Fuller was this year invited to be the official artist for Prince Charles's Australian Royal Tour.
I just travelled with the official entourage and painted when I could. Quite often we'd stop somewhere for 20 minutes and I did a few pencil sketches, that sort of thing. After I got back home and tidied up some of the work, they selected, or the Prince selected 3 paintings and purchased those, which was a real bonus to go into his collection. And in fact, I gave him a painting as a gift in thanks. He paid for my tour out of his own personal funds, and so, yeah, I thought that was a real honour.
Royal patronage is just another accolade in a decorated career for Warwick Fuller. The recognition is nice, but it's the work that drives him and the other plein air painters.
What I'm attempting is to paint the light. It sounds easy, but I've only been trying for 35 years and I'm hoping to get a good one soon. But it's a very elusive sort of a thing to really capture it. You can make a light colour on a dark object and call it light, but light is all-encompassing. It's in the air, it's on objects. It's a very difficult and elusive thing to capture, and that's what really drives me.